In this session, I want to go ahead and show you how to use Cloudinary to eliminate the risk of using images from various places on the web to embed in Kumu models. Cloudinary is a web-based facility utility environment, whichever you'd like to call it, which provides for the management of images in addition to a lot of image manipulation features, most of which I seldom have any use for. I'm going to go ahead and try to show you the absolute minimal awareness of Cloudinary that you need to understand to be able to manage images and put them in Kumu models. And beyond that, you're free to seek out and understand Cloudinary to the extent that you want to. The pricing model for Cloudinary is that you can manage 75,000 images, 2 gigabytes of storage, and 5 gigabytes of monthly bandwidth for free. And in terms of creating images to put them into Kumu models, I doubt that you'll ever exceed the free limit and have to pay for account for Cloudinary. So from my perspective, it's essentially free. And I've been using it for a couple years now, and I haven't exceeded the free limit. So once you go ahead and sign in, create your account for Cloudinary and log in, it will ask you about a development environment, and just ignore that part because you don't need a development environment. You just want to go to the media library, and this is where you will store images in a number of different ways and go ahead and access them to use them somewhere else. So from here you have a couple of options. You can drag and drop a file here, or you can select a file from your desktop to be added to the collection. In terms of how you name the files, I just started at 0001 and added, incremented by 1 every time I added one. The names of the files are relatively immaterial. I seldom use the names. I use this more uploads option where I paste in a URL or select a file, provide the public ID, which is one larger than whatever the last one was I used, and I supply tags so that from time to time I actually search using the tags to find, I want a graph, so I can search for it, and I have 4 graphs that I've stored so far, and if I want one of them, I select this. I can go ahead and grab this URL to put the full-size picture image in, or I can come back here and simply right-click and tell it that I want to copy image URL, and therefore I get this little thumbnail, which is usually about the right size for the stuff that I want to use in Kumu. So to use this, either I have my own images and I upload them, or I go find them on the web, and I just go to Chrome and tell it that I want to look for a bank. I click on images, find something suitable for what I'm looking for, and then I go ahead and view the image. And I'm looking for a URL that's some of the images that you run across in Google are sort of alias tags to images that aren't really there. You want a URL that's relatively well defined so that you can simply select that URL and copy it. Go back to Cloudinary, and let me go back to my full set of content. Go ahead and paste this URL in here and tell it I want to make this 0253, and I want to call this bank, and tell it to upload the image, and there it is. So I can right click and go ahead and copy this image URL, and then go here and simply paste in this URL, and I now have that image in the model that I'm developing in Kumu. if I wanted to use the larger image, I could click on this and then grab this particular URL. And that's the only aspect of Cloudinary that I actually use. If I have, well, if I have, there are a whole set of image manipulation options that you can use here. Here are more options. So these are all things that you can do to an image that it will pull out on the fly if you want to go ahead and spend the time to learn about them. But in terms of how I use it to manage my images for inclusion in Kumu projects, I simply go ahead and either I find the URL and then upload it by specifying the next ID number and one or more tags that seems appropriate, or I have the file on my desktop and I select it and upload it, and I simply continue to sequence this. You can see these are 247, 248, 249. So each one that I add is one larger. So regardless of where I get the image from, they're all maintained in the same place, and I can reference them and use them. So Cloudinary is there at cloudinary.com. Go ahead and get an account, practice with it. I think you find it very useful, as I have, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.